Hey, I am putting all the cards away right now for the video I just recorded. And this is immediately following that one. Now I'm going to be getting into the Daily Bite. But I just wanted to note that the devil, I was putting them all together and he fell in reverse. So I'm actually kind of sort of thankful in a weird way because it illuminated and highlighted everything that I needed to fix within myself. The things that I didn't even know were, oh girl, there's so much I didn't even, things are starting to play out. Anyway. Oh, wow. What is this? The Memory Keeper and the Priestess. Love that. High Priestess and the Six of Chalices. Okay, all right. Somebody can see the truth of some sort of deep past. Now we got the Chariot and the High Priestess. And these are actually kind of sort of two Cancer cards, right? Because the High Priestess is ruled by the Moon rules Cancer, and then the Chariot is ruled by Cancer. So Cancer is cardinal. We're just now shifting out of we're just now shifting out of the Cancer North Node for the Moon. So that's interesting, right? All right. Oh, there we go. First card just came out. Y'all see that? What is that? The Grotesque. All right. Let me make sure that's the only card that flipped over. Yes. All right. That's the left flank. Tell me what's in the middle. Bottom of the deck when the Grotesque came out is that Kindred, Three of Cups. Again, Cancer energy. Archangel Commander with the Kindred. I've been seeing the King of Swords a lot. It's time for higher logic to interact with the heart. Oops. Okay, that's a whole bunch, but I just saw the Ten of Pentacles. I'm only taking one card at first. Come on, y'all. Archangel of Mysteries with the Reaper. That's deep, deep, deep transformation. Probably coming in with the Scorpio full moon. Like I said at the end of the last video, if there's anything that you know you need to do to move forward, do it now. Or when the Scorpio, do it. You know, I ain't gonna tell nobody when to do nothing because it's y'all life. What is this? The Stronghold of the Grail and the Politic. Three of Scepters and the Page of Cups. Chalices, sorry. Ooh, the Keeper. And that Politic. Okay. So they went looking for an answer and you found everything that you need to awake to your destiny. Oh, love that. And now we have the Stronghold of the Zephyrs with the Keeper. Okay. So we started with the Page of Cups and with the Page of Swords. Ain't no action though. Is that the Convalescent? The Convalescent, Four of Swords. Okay. Alright, now give me the right flank. Please. I want to note this card. Oh, the Bereaved, Three of Swords. Okay, well. I feel like that fits. Cutting to the Shining Quarry and the Archangel of Glory. Knight of Orbs, King of Scepters energy. And then I'm going to be pulling for this last card. Now cutting to the Healer, the Star, with that Archangel of Glory, King of Scepters. Now cutting to the Sharpshooter with the Healer, Eight of Scepters, into that Star energy. Man, that's the ability to get them wishes fulfilled. It's almost a space of like you can, the Leo King was just talking about Pinocchio yesterday in one of the sections, I don't know. And he was talking about how the blue fairy is only present at the beginning and the end of the movie. And it's like you can have this blue fairy that comes in and grants your wishes, or there's the last card, the Journeyman. Or you can be in the space to fulfill your own wishes. And imagine how fulfilling, with the Healer at the bottom of the deck as I'm talking about this, imagine how fulfilling it would be for you to make your own dreams come true rather than just having some fairy come and do it for you. Like, it'd still be great, but the power of you making your own dreams come true, whew, that is amazing. And I'm actually going to leave this here. What's at the top of the deck? Top of the deck is the join one, Two of Cups. And I'm just going to set these on the side. I'm actually, well, I already had it this way, so I'm going to set these on the side just to give this a little bit of extra whatever for the picture. With the top and the bottom, this is kind of sort of like everything encompassed, right? Which is Coolio. Love that energy. Let's see. There we go. And then I'm going to do the thumbnails real quick, and then I'm going to get back to work. Because things, it's like everything is moving, and it's crazy. Okay, so sitting at the top of the deck is this Two of Cups. Sitting at the bottom of the deck is that Star. The Star is actually the Healer. The Two of Cups is the joined one. So there's a lot of like healing being done on both sides of this right now. Lots of realizations happening to claim this sort of like dream. This is what did Shia LaBeouf say? Like, don't let your dreams just be dreams. Do it, just do it. I never actually watched the whole thing, but I think that's what he said. And that's very much the sort of energy that we're on, right? So we're sitting in the space of the convalescent. We're sitting in this neutral space. This is giving me very the calm before the storm, and the Hector Five of Swords is the storm. Um, we're coming out of this heartbreak, maybe with this healing, right? Maybe we're healing this heartbreak, coming into this moment of peace, but it's almost like you can't rest here for too long because you have to do something with this healing, right? We have the five of chalices, the grotesque, into the eight of orbs, the journeyman. And I'm actually going to read the journeyman because I'm feeling called to. I don't know if I've ever read the journeyman before. Like, I feel like I have. I know the thing about the grotesque is that, like, the grotesque is the energy of what actually makes us special, what makes us unique in this life. And it's like we could have been shunned or outcast for whatever that is, but it's time to claim it. I feel like there's an energy of trying to fit in or trying to do whatever, and maybe you found a place where you kind of. It's like there's a difference between finding refuge and finding solace. So I feel like you found a place where you thought you can find refuge, right? Because I feel like with finding refuge, it brings like refugees to mind. And so it's like you're fleeing this chaos, and it's like you may find this. It's like a scared animal, like a small scared animal that you have backed into a corner, and you're trying to convince it that you're safe, but it's been through so much trauma that it's just like it takes a while for it to get used to. But whenever you come into the space of refuge, it's because you're fleeing something. What you're fleeing is this war, this bereave, this Three of Swords heartache. Um, and with this convalescent, you're kind of sort of in between. I feel like you're fresh off of this healing, right? We got the Three of Swords and then the Four of Swords. You're taking a break. You're recuperating before the Five of Swords battle before you move forward. But we got this Five of Cups right here. So it's like you're feeling the call before you actually move. Two of Cups down here. Two of Chalices. So we have this 3, 4, 7 of Swords. And then this 3, 5, 8 of Chalices. With this 8 of Chalice, or with this 8 of Orbs right here. 8 of Cups is about walking away. No, this is 7. I knew it was 7, 7. I don't know how I called this the 3. So you have this 2 and 5, 7 of Chalices. And then you have this 3 and 4, 7 of Swords. Right? And then you have this 8 of Pentacles, which is all about mastery. 7 of Chalices is about options. And like we have 2 cups in reverse here. We have 2 cups up right here, 2 cups up right here. They're both being poured into. But you got to leave these 3 behind. Dahlia in the hand speaks to fate. You have the angel in the window, which is temperance, and then you have the healer down here. So I feel like with this temperance, it's like you know that you're gonna have, like, this is why the knight is sleeping in full armor. It's like this is the night before the fight, and with this angel here, it's like that period of waiting with temperance is getting further and further away. And it's like the angel is here letting you know that, like, you know, it's going to be time to move soon. So you have this 7 and this 7. 3 of Swords, heartache, recuperation. 7 of Swords being sort of like deceptive. This is the energy of not self-deception, but it's like to continue. I don't know why. Like sometimes I wake up and my body wants to remember I have allergies. They haven't necessarily been that bad, but let me get a drink real quick. Because it's like I got this little, I don't know, some kind of like mucus or something trying to come down. All right. Whew. So this is the energy of like if you rest too long, and that's again why the angel is in the window. It's time to wake up. It's time to pick up that sword, girl. It's time to move. Cause, oh, so he's up there thinking about this heartache, thinking about this heartbreak, maybe thinking about the stuff that he had to walk away from before he moves on. And his sword is sort of, I'll just hold him sideways. His sword is set down, but piercing his heart, his mind. Actually, that's the third eye about. Roughly the third eye. And what is it? The solar plexus, because it's the stomach, and then the heart. So this. Oh. I don't know why I'm seeing that third sword as like tilting up. Okay, anyway. So solar plexus, the heart, and the third eye being pierced by this heartache and this heartbreak, right? So he's finding peace with that situation, but the angel Temperance is in the window saying, like, I've held them off for as long as I can. I bought you all the time that you need, but now you have to act. It's time to pick up that sword, wake up, and go to battle, dude. Like, come on. Because it's almost like with the Five of Swords. It's like the Five of Swords wins because this knight is asleep. The Five of Swords in this deck is the Hector, and Hector was the name of Andromache's husband, maybe? But anyway, in the Trojan War, Hector was the unbeatable sort of enemy, the foe that never, ever lost, right? So this Knight of Swords is Achilles. Achilles is the one that beat Hector. But then, you know, of course, Achilles gets betrayed later because someone reveals his weakness, which was his heel, right? And I feel like one of the beautiful things about Achilles is that his heel was his weakness, but he never stopped moving forward, right? It's not like he, you know, like strapped, you know, a bunch of lead and steel shoes onto one of his feet and never ever moved, right? Because his heel was his weakness. Like, he continued to move forward even though his heel was his weakness. And the vulnerability of Achilles actually beat the arrogance of Hector. But this is like Achilles, like the angels come in, like the gods are communicating with you. Achilles, it's time to wake up, it's time to go, it's time to fight. But Achilles is like sitting there thinking about his heel. He's like, yeah, but like, what if I get nicked in the heel? What if I get stabbed in the heel? What if I get cut in the heel? Like, then my life is over. Like, maybe I shouldn't fight. Why am I a warrior anyway if, like, I have this heel as a weakness? I should be, like, a farmer or something, right? Or maybe I should be some kind of nomadic, you know, like, live a peaceful life where there's no drama and no worry. And it's like, no, Achilles, like, you're not born to be that. You're born to be this fighter. And it's time for you to go and fight. If you don't go and fight, the Five of Swords Hector is going to win this battle, and it's going to alter the course of history. And altering the course of history is altering your future towards a timeline that you don't want. Right? We have the Three of Swords on the wall, then we have the Three of Cups spelled in reverse. We have the Two of Cups up right here, and the Two of Cups up right here. This three is related to this three. This two is related to this two. Are you going to walk away from the threes to claim the twos or not? And then you have two right here as well. 2 orbs, and then 5 orbs, and then 1 orb. Anyway. So, yeah, it's like, it's time to wake up, it's time to fight. If you don't get up and fight, then the other side is going to win the battle. Like Achilles, like, you don't have time. But the thing that I do love is, like, he's fully suited up. He's ready to fight. I think he knows that the fight is coming. He's just, like, mentally preparing for it. He may still be getting over this heartache and this heartbreak, but sometimes the way to get over past defeat is to claim a future victory. And that's not saying, like, go out and look for a rebound, but it is saying, like, don't hold yourself back from claiming what it is that you need to because you're afraid of the cycle repeating, or you're afraid of this, or you're afraid of that. Again, fear is something that we need to leave behind with this Dahlia. This is a fated decision. This is a fated choice. We have the Journeyman over here, which I'm going to read right now. But eights are, to me, the Eight of Pentacles is all about mastery. And it's mastery through time and mastery through experience, right? It's almost like, I'm feeling it as like, the people who show up to fight right now, the people who show up on the battlefield are going to be, it's like, I always go back to video games. But it's like this, there's this like event right now where you get like 5 times the experience. And so if you show up and if you fight, you're going to get like, the levels that you're going to get are like you just level up faster because we're in the space where everything is so chaotic. Like this is the event sort of running right now. The people who show up and fight, you get extra experience, and so there's this ability to get a lot further, to move a lot faster, to claim a lot more in a shorter time. But it's going to require sort of like the strength for you to show up and do it. The Eight of Wands journeyman is ruled by Archangel Gabriel. It says, the journeyman crafts an orb and manifests it in between her gloved palms. This is the practitioner building up fundamentals in a specialized craft, learning to manifest orbs of concentrated power. Oh, and so I feel like that. I talked about concentration before when I talked about the gardener in the previous video, how the darker orbs are more nutrient rich, they're more concentrated, they're going to grow better than the lighter orbs. It's like whenever you bleach a grain or something, you take the nutrients out of it. Okay, so concentrated power. At her crown is an orb, symbolizing her potential and the untapped power she wields, but perhaps is not yet aware of. Displayed along the right side is a vertical line of 5 orbs that the journeyman has completed, symbolic of a strong work ethic, discipline, commitment to cultivation, and hard work. One orb has been set into a master's staff, symbolic of what this adept will someday be capable of achieving. We're adepts now, we're being called to become masters. Some people will heed the call of mastery, some people won't. You know, it is what it is. Down the journeyman's forehead, through the bridge of her nose, is the runic symbol Algiz. Aoth? I don't know how to pronounce these. Emblematic of the antlers of an elk and a powerful sigil for protection. This is the symbol of one who is successful in the quest and one who reaches hands upward to commune with the divine. Okay. On her right cheek, the onlooker's left, is the runic symbol Menaz. Man? Or Mon? I don't know. Or human, intellection, ingenuity, and creativity. Human intellection, ingenuity, and creativity. On her left, the onlooker's right, is Kenaz, Ken, the rune that casts light upon the shadows, to know and to understand, to possess the gift of sight. Sight that is being blocked right now, or maybe sight that was blocked in the past because of this third sword from this heartache. It's like this heartbreak, it changed the way that you acted and behaved, it changed the way you felt, and it changed the way that you perceived the world and you perceived other people. And so I feel like while you're healing from this, you're going to realize that the way that you perceive people is going to be different. Your heart is going to be more open. And also the way that you do things is going to be different because you're coming from this heart-led space instead of this heart-protecting space, right? You're not guarding your heart and acting extra whatever out of this misperception that you have. And like you have the star here. Is she blindfolded? What her face look like? No, she ain't blindfolded. Ooh, but she is crying. Y'all see that tear? Maybe not. I don't know if it'll focus, but maybe y'all can see it. There's a tear on the... She tied up. Or she got some kind of ropes, but she free. She had ropes. Your perception, your heart, and your actions have all been affected by whatever this bereaved Three of Swords is in your life. Behind her, the dark woods. Can you see the forest through the trees? Oh, how many times I've been saying you can't see the forest through the trees. Can you see the forest through the trees? When the journeyman appears in a divinatory reading, the seeker must discern a holistic pattern from the current details. Look to the bigger picture. And I feel like the bigger picture is what's being revealed. But again, it's like that angel is in the window. Achilles, it's time to get up and it's time to fight. And I know you're vulnerable, but in this battle, you're vulnerable. Let me slow down. Your vulnerability will be your greatest strength, because what you're coming up against is an aspect of you, that's never lost. And because it's never lost, it is already counting you out. And because it is counting you out, it is discounting your strength. And because it is looking at you as weaker than what you are, it will ultimately fall to its ego, right? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And its ego has gotten so immense because of the hold that it's had on you all of this time. But if you pick up your sword and if you strike now, you can finally lay waste to this foe that has been standing against you forever. You can finally really put the devil in the ground. And you can prove and you can show not only to other people, but to yourself, to the person who it matters the most, that you're going to do what you need to do to claim all that you want and all that you wish for and all that you desire. But you have to pick up your sword and you have to fight for this. You have to want this bad enough that you will face yourself and all of your shadows and all of the things that have fueled that shadow to claim it. How bad do you really want it? The spirit resident in the card is the reliable worker spirit, one of discipline personified. Strong work ethic and both the skill and perseverance to complete an assigned task at hand. There is also an athlete quality to the spirit's resilience, strength, and stamina. The journeyman is the grind of dedicated work, practice, and careful, methodical study of a specialized craft. Here, the forest in which the journeyman dwells is sacred and therefore signifies apprenticeship in the mysteries. The journeyman is the beneficent spirit. Oh, not spirit. Sorry, is the beneficent that will help you in your intentions with nature or land spirits, fairies or wildlings. The sacred grove here is also emblematic of asylum, refuge, and a sanctuary. The forest of the journeyman is the sanctuary for you to path work or astral project into if you seek focused mental concentration. Astrologically linked to the warrior and the erudite, numerologically linked to the force and the healer. And then we see the healer right here, and then you see the owl of Athena. Attribute is prudence. Shout out to my girl Prue. Holla holla, Shannon Doherty. I hope she's doing well. It was just brought to my attention that she's like battling stage 4 cancer like a few months ago, and I didn't even know it. I was like, what? For real? But then, she was like adamant on still working and still doing other things and still living her life, although she's going through that right now. So shout out to my girl Prue. Shout out to Shannon Doherty. And again, like, even though she's still going through it, she's showing up to do the work anyway. Because she refused to allow this to limit her in ways that it didn't have to. And then she also grew closer to her husband and her mother and family at the same time too. It's like she saw the 3 cups of the diagnosis of her health, of everything else, and instead of focusing on that 3 cups, she chose to focus on the 2 cups. The 1 cup that was her love and her connection and the increased love and connection that she got out of it, and the other cup being the things that she can still do, right? And she was adamant on doing the things that she can still do, of still living her life, to claim that healing. It's almost like you're going to also come into this healing through doing this, or you're going to get increased further healing through doing this. Okay, now I'm going to read the I Ching around the 5 of chalices and the 8 of orbs, and then I'm going to end this video and close it out. And I love the I Ching. I've been recording for a lot longer than I thought I would be today, but that's fine. Going with the flow. So, the 5 of chalices is water, and the 8 of orbs is mountain. So, mountain over water. Oh, I love that. It's like the spring through which this water flows. This is number 4, inexperience. Okay. Maybe that's why the journeyman is... I'm not the journeyman. Maybe that's why the convalescent is in bed. Like, oof, you asking me to go out and fight? I'm just a knight in training. I ain't even done my first battle yet. The mysteries. That's what I was... Okay, so the Archangel of Mysteries is the angel who illuminates the shadow. Is the angel who is permitted to walk both the higher realms and the lower realms, and the angel who helps guide lost souls in the lower realms. And this, I feel like this person is in training to become one of the emissaries of that Archangel of Mysteries. And so the healing that you're doing right now, you may help someone else do in the future. Right? It's like you're becoming this light, this star energy right here. You're being healed to be a healer. The star is shining on you, teaching you how to be a star for you to shine on other people in their darkness, to get them to come out of it. But it's going to start with you. Like, you got to show up to this fight. You have to show up to this fight. You have to gather the courage within yourself to do it. Like, you are not so inexperienced. Like, you may be inexperienced in this area, but you won't fail because you're backed and guarded by somebody mighty and somebody important. This is Mung, inexperience or a naivete. It says, you are focused on the wrong inquiry. Divination does not seek out the inexperienced fool. The inexperienced fool seeks out divination. The divination here shall give you no further information unless the inexperienced fool can return with the proper sincerity. You must find the right teacher to learn the right attitude. Be aware of your inexperience. Ignorance is pervasive, yet to err is not evil. It is naivete and a result of inexperience. Do not seek out divination again until you have mastered the teaching. Okay, girl, so... Oof. So if you have an area in life, and let's say it's a relationship because the Two of Cups is here, right? The Two of Cups is here, the Three of Swords is here, and then the Star is here. And then the Five of Cups is here. Two of Cups, Three of Swords, Five of Cups. Oof. Right? That's kind of sort of the story, but it's like 5, 3, 2. To walk away from the 3, you have to feel the 3, but then still claim the 2. And then, like, this brought up refuge and sanctuary, right? So I forgot to clarify the thought. So it's like the difference between seeking refuge and the difference between finding solace is like when you're seeking refuge, you're fleeing something, you're still focused on the chaos, confusion, and the war that you left behind. And it's interesting. I don't know if this, like, occupies a more past and future and this is present, or if these are just both blank and miss. But it's like you're fleeing one battle with this Four of Swords. You're finally mending over this heartache, but you're being called to another battle. Like I said, it's like it's time to get up, Achilles. Like, we know that your heel is your weakness, but you still have to show up and you still have to fight, because if you don't fight, Hector is going to win. You're the only person that can defeat Hector, but you defeat Hector out of your vulnerability. Like, vulnerability triumphs over ego, over confidence, and over pride in that fight. Vulnerability beat the unbeatable, surmounted the insurmountable. But vulnerability also had to show up. Vulnerability that knew its weakness. But it's like when you become so accustomed with your own weakness, you can turn it into a strength, because you know where you fall. And when you know where you fall, you know where else you can stand. And you know that this is a situation that you can stand in. But you're not going to be able to stand in this situation with pride. You're only going to be able to stand with vulnerability. You're only going to win by being vulnerable. And that's like the solace is accepting that within oneself and finding peace. Right? The refuge is fleeing the war, is escaping. The solace is finding the peace within. The solace is that now moment. Refuge is focused on the past and what you're coming out of fear of going back to that in the future. Right? There's that past future type of refuge energy. But solace is found in the moment. And that's all I'm going to say. I mean, the I Ching said that, like, the inexperienced fool seeks out divination. Divination does not seek out the inexperienced fool. You ain't getting no more answers on this until you learn the lessons. And so if you found yourself asking the same questions, running the same cycles over and over and over, and if it seems like you keep, like, you're in this sort of waiting period where it's like you don't know if you should do this and you don't know if you should do that, this is telling me, the I Ching specifically is telling me that it's intentional. And it's like what I was saying yesterday. Like, you just have to make the decision. No, that was the day before yesterday. What did I title that? Venus RX is coming, I believe, when I laid out the 3 cards, the 2 cards, the 3 cards, the 2 cards, the 3 cards, and when the Lovers was the future. I mean, I was like, the outcome of this is unknowable. You will not be certain 100% either way. I would hope and pray that you don't make a decision out of fear, that you won't be met in that space. But it is time for you to make a decision, to have the strength to stand for it, stand on it, and then to move forward with it. Right? Because this is the space of choice. This is the space of action that you have to take. And this is a wheel that's only going to turn if you turn it. And the wheel that you're turning is like you're turning this wheel that raises this gate that allows unfathomable blessing to come into your life. But it's like the last time something was at your gate, it was tragedy and it was misery. It was the Trojan horse, talking about the Trojan War, Hector and Achilles, right? The last time something was at your gate, it was the Trojan horse. It was something that looked good, it looked like a gift on the outside, but out came the beginning of this years long war. Out came all of this misery, out came all of this heartache, out came all of this heartbreak, and you're being asked to turn the wheel again, to open up again in a space. And it's almost testing to see if you've really truly done the healing that you needed to do to claim this joined one, two of cups, because everyone wants a great and fantastic lover, but to find a love that pure is to, I think I already took the picture, to find a love that pure is to, I'm pretty sure I did, is to risk being hurt again. And like I said, like, this wheel isn't going to turn itself. This is a wheel that you have to turn. This is a wheel that you have to move. And maybe the last time with the magician at the cut, maybe the last time you opened this, maybe the last time you turned it, you let in the Trojan horse, you got hurt. But hey, it's a risk that you're going to have to be willing to take. With that high priestess, you're just going to have to know that you're not going to manifest that again, because you've, with that star, you've already done the major healing, right? But if you, like, it's like I said, like, the solar plexus, the third eye, and the heart were all pierced by that heartbreak. So the way you perceive things, the way that you act and react, we have the champion and we have the chancellor of justice and the six of wands. Like, the way that you act and react to things has been changed, and your very perception is different. Conservator, you've been stuck in this area of being to yourself. Ten of Wands, feeling constantly overburdened. With this Hermit, maybe you isolated yourself. With this Legacy, now feeling the call of that Ten of Pentacles, Journeyman again, manifesting, creating, concentrating from the heart space this new sort of thing that will lead you to this mastery. But it's like you're still defensive and you're still guarded, and it's like you're not acting on the things that you really want to act out. That you're not acting on the things that you really want to act on because you're afraid that it's going to be another Trojan horse situation. Two of Pentacles with the politic, the Nocturne and the politic. Like, you're seeking out all of this information, you're seeking out this prophecy, but you're going to have to step from one old world into this new world. This is two wheels of fortune. One of them upright with the North Node, the other in reverse with the South Node, and this is all about leaving one world and entering the other. It's like, man. And then there's this, like, Cassandra energy. Now we have the Tower. Oof, we have the Tower with that Nocturne. So you exiting this old world. Oof. But hey, you claiming everything you want, baby. So, like, if you want it, you got to go for it. And that's what I'm about to do. We leaving the shadow in the past. Well, okay. We're not leaving the shadow in the past. We're bringing the shadow into the future. We're taking the shadow out of the space that it was in, out of the darkness that it couldn't see out of. That's what we're doing. Give me one card. There we go. Thank you. Oof. The Contender. It's the Contender, right? You have the Contender. Five of Wands. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to open up that gate and be prepared to fight. You're going to have to be prepared to fight. This is the Ace of Wands intersecting Four Wands. This is you keeping yourself from claiming that Four of Wands energy because you're not willing to fight for it. Bottom of the deck is that Chariot. You got to be willing to move if you want to claim it. And you got to be willing to move quick and move fast, because if you got the Chariot behind this, I don't know how long it's going to last. Like I said, we're coming up on a whole bunch of slow it on down types of energy. And when things begin to open up, things are going to begin to move. And you don't want to miss it because you were afraid, or you don't want to miss it because you were stuck, or you don't want to miss it because, you know, You're like, I'm not over it yet. I'm not over it yet. I'm not over it yet. Honestly, sometimes maybe it's like with the if this is one of the things that has been one of your greatest blockages, and this is one of your greatest lessons, you may never feel like you're ready to do it. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff I was doing that in the moment I was doing it, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all for it. It's like I'm doing this and I'm saying this, but I'm not ready. And it's not, I feel like it is the inexperienced fool that needs to feel that it has to be ready before it seeks to claim everything that it wants. And it is the experienced fool that knows that it is a fool and that it will continue to be a fool in a lot of areas and in a lot of ways and in a lot of regions of life. But the only way to gain experience is to take the experience. You're not going to gain experience by thinking about it. North Node in Gemini, South Node in Sagittarius. This isn't something that you're going to be able to go to college for, get your higher education, and then, show up with all of the qualifications thinking that you're ready to do something. It's like, no. Like, we don't care how much school you have. We're looking for experience. And then you're like, well, how do I need a job to get experience, and I need experience to get a job. So how do I get a job? You get the experience. And that's all I'm going to say. If you're an inexperienced fool seeking divination, you're going to be seeking for a long time and you may not find much. And it is what it is. I got to get back to doing the work that I need to do to claim all the stuff that I'm claiming, because that stuff is rolling in and I am not missing it. I'm not missing it again. No, 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 no. Because this is the time where I personally, to myself, to the universe, to everything, prove that I've closed out the cycles that I needed to close out, that I'm no longer held to and bound to the karma that I was bound to, created through these self-sabotaging cycles, through cycles of not claiming the things that I actually want, right? Because it's like I'm a Pisces. I always dream these dreams, but I never take the opportunities. And you best believe that I'm not doing that no more. So let me get back to work. I'm going to let you get back to whatever it is you need to get back to. Thank you for watching if you watched. Thank you for spending time with me. If you spent time with me, I appreciate it. And I hope that you were able to find something relevant and valuable to you. Like I said, if you keep seeking, like the I Ching said today, if you keep seeking answers, inexperienced fool, you're not going to find answers. And you're not going to find answers because it's time to seek experience.